Hi guys, welcome to the stream. We are reviewing episode 3 of the Halo series. Both myself and Gray have watched it with mixed sort of feelings. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, happy that it's Friday, so I got to watch the new Halo episode. Must say, another slow burn.
Yeah, I'd say that if I was to basically hit it with its main critique at this point, the series has been slow so far. I think a lot of the criticism that I've seen in a lot of other reviews is probably unjustified. I've seen a lot of people crying out for action. Basically, oh yeah, this doesn't feel like Halo's action, and all of that. Yeah, the game's action. The reason why the Halo game was so good is literally there's never a 30-second period without you killing someone. Like, you literally go from fight to fight to fight, and the space in between that is about 15 to 20 seconds. So it keeps you engaged and keeps you entertained. People want a series like that, it's not going to work. Like, you might watch one episode and go, oh yeah, that was cool. You might come back for the second episode, but you're not going to watch 9 episodes of basically, oh yeah, Master Chief goes into a room and kills everyone. Master Chief goes into a room and kills everyone. Master Chief goes into a room and kills everyone. Basically on rinse and repeat. I mean, if you looked at the games, there's zero character progression of Master Chief. Like, there's no character arc on Master Chief. It's mainly just Master Chief kicks the crap out of everything because he's awesome.
Yes.
That's my opinion anyways. I don't think you can take the game and basically instantly make it work like the game as in series form. You need to have more story. You need to have more character development. Do I like what they're always doing with the characters, including Master Chief? Absolutely not. But I do think that they need to do that actually to give the show any form of longevity.
I agree, but also we have to remember that not everybody that watches this show has played the Halo games. So we all know, as Halo fans and probably played the games, that Reach is going to fall. However, we need to, or the show needs to lay the groundwork so that people who haven't played the game understand why Reach is going to fall. Because it's quite clear now, at the end of episode 3, Reach is going to fall to everybody who's watching the show. However, the first 3 episodes have basically explained to you how the Covenant has managed to achieve this feat, considering Reach is supposed to be a very safe planet.
It's also, I think, it needs to convey to people why people should give a shit that Reach is falling. Like, it's not just why, it's why should I care? Like, if you just jumped from action to action to action to action, and there was no sort of like emotive response connections or anything like that. And that, I feel, is what they've tried to do in episode 3, apart from trying to make the Oni guy basically not seem like a complete heartless dick by leaving everyone behind to die. By basically saying, oh yeah, his dad's here and all of that sort of stuff. They're trying to give people like an emotive response to actually care about the characters. They're trying to give people an emotive response to care about Reach. Like how I think it's Admiral Keyes basically responded with regards to basically telling the Oni guy to, well, there's no way to put it, he told him to fuck off, basically. Because basically he'd reprimanded Master Chief for basically defying his orders, but Master Chief was 100% in the right. Master Chief knew the Covenant were going to be there, and Admiral Keyes basically toed the party line and said that he wasn't, and then found out literally, like in the next scene, that actually Master Chief was right and the Covenant are in Reach. So
not only did he find that out, but he also found out that the higher ups have known for a while, and they are intentionally not evacuating the planet.
Yeah, because they're doing what, in all honesty, if there was a world-ending apocalypse coming, you know, basically to planet Earth, they're doing exactly what the people in charge would do: not causing a panic, evacuating basically people of importance, and basically getting any sort of materials that are going to be needed for the war long term off of the planet. That is that's pretty much what would happen in real life. So it's at least believable.
Yes, it is. And I have a feeling that the Oni guy is not actually going to make it off planet.
I hope not.
Because quite clearly, his ship was starting to leave the atmosphere, and then the next scene, the church is blowing up that John is in. So
yeah,
if we take that as literally happening at the same time, then the Covenant is already attacking Reach. So I definitely don't think he's making it to safety like he thought he was going to.
Just going back to the point that you made about how like the higher up have apparently all known, I think that is going to be the rationale as to why no one realized that basically there was a giant Covenant force, because we're led to believe when you see those ships rising through basically the cloud that they're on some planet. I believe that planet is supposed to be Reach, but how does an entire Covenant armada basically get, just appear without anyone noticing basically the slip jumps? Because Cortana can notice them basically from the ground of the planet in season 1, and yet no one knows that this is happening basically in season 2. And you would assume that if this is the human population center of that region of space, that basically they would be scanning the solar system for basically enemies coming, or they'd have at least that capability. So it's almost like they knew they were coming, and they're like, well, we can't really do anything about it, so we're just going to use this to buy time while we put other plans in motion to potentially win the war. And that's exactly how it sounds.
And to expand on that, it seems like when Oni Man was talking with Halsey in her prison, he definitely got we got the inference that there's going to be the more advanced Spartans coming out in potentially later seasons if the show continues, because we know in the games there are additional models of Spartans, so it was hinting towards that being the case, that Halsey Spartans were just a nice stepping stone to the next evolution of the Spartan soldier.
I'm hoping that they're going to introduce Spartan 3s, so the throwaway mass Spartans, basically made from orphans of the basically destroyed and glassed other planets. That I hope is going to be the case, and it would explain why in the trailer you had the guys in the white armor, unless they're going to be shock troopers. I mean, we don't know. But my gut feeling is it'll be Spartan 3s. I hope they don't just jump to Spartan 4s, where they can instantly turn adults basically into Spartans, because the whole point is that they learned from John's Spartan 2 program. Then you had the Spartan 3 where they mass produced it, and they picked up basically more knowledge to allow them to actually modify basically adults into genetically enhanced super soldiers, because they weren't able to do that previously. They'd had to be children or adolescents that were augmented. So I'm hoping it's Spartan 3s.
I think we're going to get both. I think we're going to have Spartan 3 so that we can actually have an epic large battle with the Covenant. But I think they're going to introduce a unique small squad that's probably going to be a Spartan 4 squad.
Don't you think that this comes back to basically the critique that we had last week, in that the Marines are shit? So now they're resorting to basically bringing the Spartan 3s or 4s in, because then they can kill Covenant, because the Marines are so crap that they can't actually kill anyone.
Well, I was just about to say, I hope they give the Marines a good send-off on Reach, because we know the planet's going to be lost, and we know that millions of people are actually going to die. But I really hope we see that the Marines aren't just completely useless, and that they are going to be able to kill. Okay, they might not be able to kill the elite, but clearly the Covenant is also going to be attacking with the grunts and everything. So I think we are going to see that the Marines aren't as useless as we think they are.
Well, I hope I see a Marine kill at least one member of the Covenant. Because if I don't, and it's all the Spartans, then what is the point of having Marines? You might as well not even bother having them. Because you've been in the Covenant War for Christ knows how long now, and your Marines are completely useless. So every single time, and there's a point in Season 1 where they turn around and go, oh, I'll send 10 battalions of Marines. And you sat there going, well, so far from what I've seen from the season, they're all going to get absolutely massacred. And Chief says that. He says, if you send 10 battalions of Marines, you're going to have 20,000 dead Marines. But, like, why offer to send them if they're completely useless against the Covenant? But everything in the show that we've seen so far says that Marines are basically useless.
Yeah, and they had 2 guarding Jon in this episode, and that seemed pointless.
And he basically just bitch slapped them.
Yeah, 1 swing. Okay, he's genetically enhanced and all that, so understandable. But yeah, they couldn't do a single thing against him.
At least he apologized beforehand.
He did, but again, I do feel that the Marines have been underutilized so far in both seasons, especially when you recall playing ODST, and it's like, yeah, the Marines were still competent. They could kill. Yeah. It was like they weren't completely useless.
The shock troopers were actually pretty good.
Mm.
Like, I know they're not bog standard Marines, but it's like you've got to have some value to them, and it just seems like they've been. It's going to sound weird to say this, but nerf battered. Like, they're just completely useless.
Yeah. So, after seeing season 3, do you have any further guesses for what episode 3, for what's happening in the rest of the season?
Well, there's a few things that I'm hoping don't happen. I'm hoping that they don't write the Pillar of Autumn completely out of the show, which I'm starting to feel like they will. Because it's blatantly obvious that Soren's wife and I can't remember the name of the person who's on from Madrigal, she's quite forgettable.
Han, Han or Han?
Yeah, female Han. Basically, I've got a feeling that they're going to come in right as everything's kicking off, and either they're all going to escape on that ship, or Soren and some civilian survivors, potentially Halsey as well, will escape on that ship. Because, again, in the trailer, we see Han walking down the corridor with Halsey. So those two are probably going to end up together. So you might have all of them escaping on that ship. My only hope is that Chief escapes with the Keystone on basically the Pillar of Autumn. Because if he escapes on that, I think the ending is going to be them reaching the Halo. But if they're not on the Pillar of Autumn, you're going to have a lot less potential for any sort of large-scale battles involving Marines and all of that sort of stuff. Because the whole point of the game was you had quite a lot of Marines and personnel who escaped the Pillar of Autumn before it went down and crashed into into Halo. So there's a few things that I'm hoping don't happen. But personally, I think that one of the Spartans is going to die. I still maintain that at least one, not all, but at least one will die. I don't think all will die, because I think they'll need additional characters to basically have any sort of conversation with Jon other than just Jon and Cortana. They might go down that route, but I don't think they're all going to die. And I think that we're going to get a big payoff in probably the next few to potentially the rest of the season. I think the payoff's going to be pretty huge. It has to be. Like, these 3 episodes have been so low budget and quite slow burnerish that they're definitely building up to the big thing. And we've just had the Covenant start basically bombarding. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the rest of the season is going to be quite action-filled.
I think so. like episode 3 literally ends with an explosion, so one can only assume that this is the start of the attack. So it would heavily imply that the next few episodes at least are going to be quite action heavy, with a lot of fighting, a lot of explosions, a lot of death. And from some of the trailers that we've seen, they were quite a bit of action, where actually John gets a laser sword and all that stuff. So I've got high hopes for the next few episodes. But I agree, the first 3 have been a very slow introduction to the season. However, I think it's laid good groundwork for the action that is about to come.
That's why I'm refusing to give any sort of ratings on the first 3 episodes, because their rating is heavily going to be dependent upon the payoff in the later episodes. If the payoff is there, then the episodes have laid the groundwork. If the payoff is non-existent, then the groundwork is just wasted time.
I agree. So we'll see you next week for season 4, and we'll see if we were anywhere close to what we thought.
Yeah. One thing I would just like to add before we end, my main hope, is that they take the ending of the Reach game and see one of the Spartans off in the exact same manner. Where basically they're there alone and they just fight wave upon wave until they die. And I would be happy
great
if they showed that for like 7-8 minutes. But that's my last thought anyways.
That would be a fantastic ending to the season.
It would. So we'll leave it there. We'll catch you next week, Friday, about the same time. And hopefully we will finally start getting some payoff in this season. All right. Catch you then.